Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how you doing? As you may know, I was in Walt Disney World back in June of this year, so June of 2015. And whilst we were there, we used something called the Memory Maker. And I thought I'd just talk to you about the Memory Maker because a few people have questions about it and it's still quite new, I guess. It used to be called PhotoPass Plus. It's still the same system, just a bit different. And I really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd just tell you about it and what I thought of it personally, and hopefully you'll find it useful. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Memory Maker is, it's basically a system where there's loads of photographers around the Disney parks in Disney World, and they're spread around the parks mainly in front of like the iconic attractions in the parks. And if you have a memory maker, you can go up to them and they can take a picture, and it's a nice professional picture. And yeah, now these pictures will be on the website for up to, I believe, 40 days after they've been taken, so you've got plenty of time to go on the website and download them, and you can download them as many times as you want. You can even edit them on the website and put like random bits and bobs on there, like, I don't know, a Mickey logo or a Magic Kingdom logo and stuff like that. You just have to make sure that you do go and download them, and also do bear in mind that the pictures are very high quality, so they're going to take up a lot of space on your laptop or, you know, computer when you download them. But that's a good thing, surely. It means that the photos are very good quality. That's pretty much what it is. It costs about $200, but you get to save about $30 if you buy it in advance before you go. So that's what we did. So we paid $169 for it because we booked it way in advance, and anyone can use it. So for us, it was a really good deal because there was 5 of us going and we each contributed to the cost of the thing, so it only cost us about maybe $35 each, I think. And that's one of the good things about the Memory Maker. It doesn't matter who buys it, as long as you're with that person on the trip, you can use it. So even though, for instance, my friend Rebecca, who you may know because she's been on my channel a few times, Rebecca was one of my friends who went with me on this trip, and she was the one who originally paid for this, but the rest of us 4 girls who were with her were all able to use it as well. Because how it works is that you've got your magic band, which you use for pretty much everything when you're in Walt Disney World, like for fast passes, for paying for stuff, for everything, entry into the parks, and you also use it for memory makers. So basically when you see a photographer somewhere, anywhere in the parks, you go up to them, they take a picture, they've got this like thing, this machine thing, and you go to them after they've taken your picture and they scan it for you, and so that's how the pictures somehow end up on the website for you to download later on. And even though Rebecca had purchased our memory maker for us, it didn't matter that she wasn't with us. Like some days I would be in the park without Rebecca, for instance, or we'd just be spread out around the park, we'd be in different areas. It didn't matter that Rebecca wasn't with us, we could still use the memory maker, and the memory maker still worked on our magic bands, which I think is excellent, because we later on went to Universal Studios and they've got a similar thing to memory maker, but one of the big disadvantages with that is that you have to, the person that buys the memory maker type of thing in Universal Studios has to be with you at all times if you want the picture to be saved. Whereas with Disney World, as long as you're friends with that person, as long as your magic bands are somehow attached to each other, which ours were, that's fine. They don't need to always be with you. You can just go wherever you want and still use that same memory maker. Now, one thing that I've been asked quite a lot since I've been back from Disney World is whether or not the memory maker is worth it. And I think that yes, it's absolutely worth it. I mean, for us especially, because it was 5 of us, the cost was quite low when it came down to it. And also because for 4 of us, it was our first time in Disney World. We really wanted to capture every moment that we could as best as we could. And although all of us had phones and we took loads of pictures on our phones as well, we didn't want to have to stress out about pictures constantly, especially because I was vlogging as well, and I mainly use my camera for videos rather than pictures. And so it was nice to have you know, people just take pictures of me wherever I went, pretty much. And also one of the best things is that they've got photographers literally everywhere, so pretty much any iconic attraction that you can think of in any of the parks, not just Magic Kingdom, you know, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, even the water parks. When we went anyway in June, they had photographers even in like Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, which I think is amazing. And sometimes you might like walk past something and not even realize that that's like a really cool thing to take a picture with, but because you see a photographer right next to you, you're like, I might as well take a picture. And that's good. I like that. As somebody who loves taking pictures a lot and like capturing every moment as much as I can, for me that was excellent. I mean, between the 5 of us, I think we took over 1,000 something pictures. It was definitely over 1,000, probably more like 1,100 pictures, which is a lot, but there was 5 of us there and we stayed for 2 weeks, so we definitely made the most of it. Now you have to remember, these photographers aren't just for attractions. They take pictures of you on rides, pretty much all the rides, with characters. As long as they're official meet and greets, there'll be a photographer there that can take a picture. Of course, all the like major landmarks, and even sometimes just randomly. Like, there were a few times when we just saw a random photographer, like a memory maker photographer walking past, and we were like, can you just take a picture of us randomly here, even though it wasn't anything special? And they would do it, they would happily do it. But obviously that's not something that always happens, but if you do want a picture somewhere and the photographer isn't very busy or something, you could maybe ask them to do it for you. Now I thought I might show you some of the pictures that we got taken on our holiday, because that might give you a bit of an idea as to how the pictures turn out and whether or not it's worth it for you. So these are some of the pictures that we took in front of the major icons in Disney World, like in front of the castle, of course. I took so many pictures in front of the castle because it's just beautiful and it's one of my favorite places to take pictures at. And especially one day when I went to Magic Kingdom on my own, like, it was so useful because I was just there on my own, just chilling, having a good time, and I thought, why not take as many pictures as I can? And especially in front of the castle where they know people want loads of pictures at, there's loads of photographers. Like, you walk like 10 steps and you see another photographer, and then you walk 10 steps closer to the castle and there's another photographer, which is very useful because sometimes there might be queues for some of those locations because, you know, loads of people want pictures in front of the castle, for instance, or in front of the big wall at Epcot, or in front of the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom. So you have to take that into consideration, that you might have to wait a little bit sometimes. It's never like a very long wait or anything, maybe like 5 minutes maximum, and that's only at some locations. As you can see here, there's some pictures of us in front of the Tree of Life, and in some of the water parks, and like Tower of Terror, which is one of our favourite rides. One of the other fun things that the Memory Maker does is that sometimes they do what is called magic shots, and so basically the photographer would like tell you to pose in a specific way. You don't know what's going to happen, and you pose like looking very silly and feeling ridiculous, and then later on when you look at your picture, something fun happens. Like, there might be a random Tinkerbell in the picture, or Simba, or just any other thing. Like, Olaf was there a few times when we did our pictures, and it's just really fun. It's like an added magic to the pictures. Now sometimes they do some random videos and questionable magic shots, which I'll show you a few examples now. They just made me laugh more than anything, because when we looked at them later on, we were like, what on earth? Like Baymax is completely blocking us, and it was just funny and unexpected. But now I'll show you some of the pictures from some of the rides that we went on. Now, I went on pretty much all the rides that were there, and they take pictures on all of them as well, and some of them they even take videos, which was really cool. The only two rides that actually take videos are the Mine Train in Magic Kingdom and Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios, so I'll show you the videos of that later on as well. But here are some of the ride pictures, like us in Tower of Terror, for instance, as you can see, looking absolutely happy and scared at the same time. Rock and Roller, there's just so many, like Dinosaur, which is one of the one of the funniest pictures of me on a ride ever, I think. I mean, look at that. What is my face? I was scared on that ride. Here are two examples of the videos as well if you want to have a look.
Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
1939. The Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star, a beacon for the show business elite. Until 5 people stepped through the door of an elevator and into a nightmare. Now that door has opened once again. For you.
Now, I think the best thing about the Memory Maker is the photos that you take with characters. Even though there's photographers everywhere and, you know, they can take pictures of you in front of the iconic buildings and stuff as well, the character thing for me was one of the best things and one of the things that helped me the most, because that can be quite a stressful time for you because you're like queuing up to meet characters and stuff, and I was vlogging as well, and I had my autograph book, and I just didn't want to have to worry about pictures. And it was so good to not have to do that, to have a photographer there taking care of that. And we took so many great pictures with characters that I think for that alone, I'd say the Memory Maker maker is worth it. I've done a whole video with pretty much all my pictures with the characters that we met at Disney World, so I'll link that below, or you can click on my face right now and go to it. But I'll show you some of the examples right now in this video as well. They're all pretty much really good quality pictures, and sometimes they take like pictures of you when you're not even expecting it, like when you're hugging them or just like listening to them talk or having a conversation. They just love taking pictures, the photographers, and you can tell that by the pictures when you look at it later on, because like normally you wouldn't even think of taking pictures whilst you're just talking with them, but they just take it because they're just there. I mean, not all of them do, but most of them seem to do that because they just love taking pictures. So yeah, those are the three main things that these photographers take pictures of: characters, iconic attractions in all the parks, and rides. So pretty much everything. So if you know that you're going to go on loads of rides and you want pretty much all the pictures from it, definitely get the memory maker, because it's going to save you loads of money and you'll have all the pictures digitally, and you can put them on Facebook, Twitter, and you can print them off if you want. Similarly, if you know you want to be meeting loads of characters, then again, definitely get this, because I can't tell you how great it was. Like, they take at least 4 or 5 pictures with every character, and if they see that you're having loads of fun with a character, for instance, the one day that I went to Magic Kingdom on my own, I met Woody and Jessie, and I had so much fun with them. Like, I spent loads of time with them and they were loving it, and we were just laughing, and the photographer loved it, and like, because of that, he took even more pictures of me, because, you know, the more interactions you have with the characters, the more pictures they can take. So I've got about maybe 15 pictures of that meet and greet, which is amazing. So yeah, if meeting characters is your thing, definitely get this. And of course, I think anyone who goes to Disney World wants pictures in front of the castle and all the major landmarks. So if you know you want to do all 3 of these things, and a lot of them, then 100% I'd recommend getting the memory maker. Now, having said all this, I do want to mention a few things that might be a little bit negative about it. Number 1, on our first day in Magic Kingdom, and also our first day using the memory maker, we met Buzz in Tomorrowland, and it was great, and we all got our pictures with him, and you know, our pictures were on the website and we could go and download them. But what happened is that when we went on the website later that day, we saw that there was pictures of another family on our website as well, and at first we were like, what? And we didn't even recognize the family, I don't think. They might have been behind us, but we didn't pay attention or anything. But yeah, there was about maybe 10 pictures of another family in our memory maker, and we were like, that's weird. So we felt a bit bad for them, but hopefully they managed to sort it out and get their pictures. But luckily, us ourselves never had any problems of not getting our pictures on our website. So pretty much every picture that we took, and I checked pretty much every day in the evenings. I would just go on the website, because you can go on the website on your phone or whatever and just check it, because there's free Wi-Fi there as well, and see if the pictures are there. Sometimes it may take up to maybe 3 or 4 days for the pictures to load, but normally they'd be there in like maximum an hour. There was one instance where we went to be our guest and we met the Beast, and that was like a once in a lifetime thing for me. And like I said, there was 5 of us there, and 2 of us had their pictures put up straight away, and 3 of us, our pictures just weren't there that evening, and I started to panic, and we all started to panic, and we were like, oh my god, what's happening? We even went to talk to them, and then as we were talking to them, trying to explain what was happening and if we could go and meet the Beast again maybe to get another picture, my friend checked it and it was up. So it just took a bit longer for ours to go up, and we were just a bit confused because 2 of them had gone up and the other 3 hadn't. So we were just like, because that was a bit weird, because normally they all go up at the same time from each location. So that was a bit weird. Like, things like that might happen every now and again, but just don't panic, because even if you do lose them, as far as I know, so even if like you take a picture somewhere and it doesn't show up on the website, if you talk to them, they can somehow find it for you. So it's not really much of a problem. Number 2, even though all the photographers use professional cameras, I'm not sure if they're all professional photographers, because some of the pictures that they took didn't look very nice. Like, I'll show you some examples right now. I mean, look at that. The lighting in that is absolutely dreadful. And that wasn't just the one picture. All the pictures that photographer took of us look really bad lighting wise, and there were a few other instances like that as well. And you know, it wasn't very often, but sometimes you'd get some pictures that, you know, were quite questionable, when you'd be like, really? But 99% of the time the pictures are amazing and really good quality. So don't let the bad pictures put you off, because even if there is a bad picture, like if you, for instance, meet Minnie and the photographer takes like 5 or 6 pictures of you, maybe 1 or 2 of them might be quite bad. Doesn't happen often, but they might be quite bad, and you'll still have a few other pictures that are good. So I do want to stress out that not all the photographers are bad, and most of the pictures are absolutely amazing. It's just maybe of all the like pictures that we took, which we took about 1,000 or something pictures, maybe about 5 or 6 of them are quite bad quality. The rest of them are absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's another slightly negative thing about it. And number 3, and this is my last bad point about it is that not every single character meet and greet will have a photographer. So that was a bit strange to us, because in Magic Kingdom we met Snow White and Mary Poppins and there wasn't a photographer next to them, so we had to take our own pictures. And it was the same in Epcot actually. Mary Poppins never had a photographer with her. We met Mary Poppins in Epcot as well, but she didn't have a photographer next to her, so we had to use our own phones and stuff to take pictures. So bear in mind that not every single character meet and greet is going to have photographers next to it, so sometimes you might have to use your own camera for some of the characters. Especially in like meals, if you go to a character meal, then definitely don't expect to have a photographer for your meals, because there won't be photographers just running after like Mickey or other characters whilst they come to your table. You're just going to have to use your own cameras for that. But at the same time, as you'll see in my video that I did of all the characters that I meet, for most of the characters there was a photographer waiting outside. So again, that's a very small percent of the characters meet and greets that, you know, didn't have a photographer next to them. But just bear that in mind before you purchase this. And I think that's it. If you have any questions about the Memory Maker, do leave them down in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. As I said before, I personally definitely recommend them, especially if it's your first time in Disney World, or if you're going for a special occasion, or if you just want to take as many pictures as you can. And also it really helps if you're going with a group of people. Even if you're going with just like 1 or 2 other people, you can split the cost and then it's completely worth it, because you can both use it and you get some great pictures. You don't have to constantly worry about going up to people and asking them to take pictures of you, which is what I normally do in Disneyland Paris because they don't have this system. And yeah, for $169, I think go for it. The only time I'd say don't buy this is if you're maybe only going for like 2 or 3 days, which I don't think many people do anyway. Not with Disney World, you need at least a week, and with a week stay you'll get loads of pictures, so it'll be worth it. And with us, with 2 weeks there and 5 girls taking as many pictures as we wanted, we really made the most of it. And like I said, over 1,000 pictures we got, and videos as well. But yeah, I hope you found this video informative. Like I said before, leave comments down below with any questions that you have, and if you're going to Disney World anytime soon, I hope you have a great time, and let me know if you decide to buy this or not. But yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye!